Hello and welcome everybody, this is Roland Hartmann from graphicinmotion.com, and in this tutorial I will show you how to customize my Plexus Dance Intro After Effects template. Before I get started with the customization inside After Effects, I want to point out a few things about this template. First of all, if you take a look at the download folder, then you will see that there are two different project files included. One of them is called Plexus Dance Intro Dark and the other one is called Plexus Dance Intro Light. These are the two versions that you probably already saw in the preview video. So we have one dark version with the dark color layout and we have one light version. So choose the project that you want. Another detail that I want to point out in the beginning is that this template requires two different third-party plugins. The first plugin is the Plexus plugin and the second plugin is the OPTICAL FLARES plugin. So if you do not own these two plugins, this template won't work. So make sure that you have the latest versions of these two plugins. And at the date of the release of this template, the latest Plexus version is version 3.0.1 and the OPTICAL FLARES version used is version 1.3.5, so make sure that you have at least these versions installed or later versions and then the template should work. Also be aware that this template works with After Effects CS6 and later versions of After Effects. Now let's dive right into the template and start the customization process. First of all, I want to import a logo. Therefore, we move to the logo composition, which should be already open in your timeline. If it's not open, you can find all the compositions right here in the project window. So let's open up the logo composition and you see, as an example, you can find my logo in here. To import your own logo, you can go to File and select Import File and then choose a logo from your directories. For now, I do not want to import a new logo. I want to show you how you can use this template with a text layer. So instead of importing a logo, I will simply create a new text layer. Therefore, I go to New Layer and New Text. Now let's type in something like your logo. I will disable the placeholder logo right here. And now for this example, I will take the Nexa bold font and I will make this a little bit bigger. Let's say like this approximately. Now let's toggle the transparency grid that we can see what we are doing. And now we want to position the logo. Make sure to position the logo before you continue with the logo reveal setup, because after the logo reveal setup, you can change the position, but then you have to do the reveal setup again. So make sure that you position the logo right now. I will take a look at the render composition and I will move my time marker to the end of our animation and then I will see my final screen. First of all, I think that my logo is too big, so I go back to my logo composition and scale it down. Right now it's a 100% scale, so let's say I want to make it 80%. And now I go back to my render composition. And I think that this looks quite good, but I think that it's a little bit too high on our screen, so I will move it down a bit. So I hold down Shift and press the down arrow key once. This looks quite good. Let's go back to our render comp, and I think this looks way better. Okay, so now I'm satisfied with the size and with the position of my logo. The next step is to import an audio file. If you take a look at the render composition, and if we take a look at our dancer here, you see that these audio reactive Plexus lines are not visible now. And this is because we have no audio in our project right now. So let's enter the audio composition and let's go to File and Import File. Now we'll import the audio and I will take the same audio that I used in the preview video. You can find the link to the audio in the links folder and your project folder. Right here, there's the link to the dubstep logo audio by psound24 on Audio Jungle. Now let's drag our WAV file or MP4 file into our audio composition and make sure that the file starts on frame 0. If you take a look at the render comp now, you will see immediately that now all these audio reactive lines are visible and they are reacting to the audio that you imported. The next step is to set up our logo reveal. If you take a look at the logo reveal right now, you will see that there is still the Graphic in Motion logo visible, but we want this to form and react the logo that we put in here. So let's go to the logo reveal setup composition. In the logo reveal setup composition, the first thing that you have to do is we choose all of the Plexus layers. So we choose the Plexus logo reveal matte 2, hold down Control, choose the Plexus logo reveal matte, and we hold down Control and choose the Plexus logo layer. Now let's press M on the keyboard, and this will reveal all the masks that are on these layers right now. Now select all these masks by selecting the first one, scroll down, hold down Shift, and simply press Delete to get rid of them. We do the same on the other two layers, so select the first one, hold down Shift and delete this one. And now on our Plexus logo layer, select these 41 masks and delete them. Now nothing is visible anymore and we have to apply new layers. Therefore we select our logo layer, and you can see that on this layer there is a marker that says auto trace this layer. So choose this layer, select it, and then go to layer and select auto trace. Make sure that the preview is checked, and then you see what the auto tracer will do. My settings here are that I want to trace the alpha channel. So depending on what kind of logo you use, it could also make sense to use the luminance channel. In my case with the text, it's okay to trace the outlines, so I will choose alpha channel. I do not need any blur before the auto trace. I want the tolerance to be 1 pixel, a minimum area of 2 pixels, and a threshold of 50%. The corner roundness you can leave at 0%. And make sure that apply to a new layer is checked. So now let's press OK, and After Effects will trace our logo, will create a new layer right here on top. And if you select this new layer and press M on your keyboard, you will see that now we have new masks on our layer. Now select these masks, again the first one, hold down Shift and select the last one. Press Ctrl or Command and C on your keyboard, and now paste these masks to the 3 layers. Select the Plexus logo reveal matte 2, hold down Ctrl, select the Plexus logo reveal matte, and hold down Ctrl and select the Plexus logo layer. Now I paste these layers by pressing Ctrl and V on my keyboard, and now you see that our masks are applied to our new layers. Now I can delete this auto traced layer. You can also turn it off. And you see immediately that now we have Plexus forming our logo. What you can do if you want to change the look of this, let's close these layers for now, and let's select the Plexus logo layer. And let's go to our window, to the Effect Controls panel. It's not open right now, so I will quickly open it up. And in the Effect Controls panel, we can go to the Plexus Path object. You see that Subdivide Masks is not enabled, and without this Subdivide Masks you do not have a lot of control over the look of this tracing here. If we select or if we enable the Subdivide Masks, you see that the look changes. Now you can change the points on each mask. I can lower them, for example, to something like 10. Then I have more this low resolution network here, and I can increase them quite high to a number of 100, for example. Then you have this really kind of ugly tracing here, so that's probably not the good value. I prefer something like 15 for this example. Now I have kind of a nice network that is building up here. So I think that for this logo, it works quite well when we take 15 points on each mask. The next step is to enter your subtitle. You see on the bottom here we have a green layer, and that's a text layer. Right now it says www.graphicinmotion.com, which is my web address, obviously. But you want to put in your own title, select the layer, double click, and then enter your own title. And you can now, of course, position it. Make sure that your time marker is behind this marker on the layer, because otherwise the text is not fully revealed and will not be visible. Now let's reposition this. I will simply drag it up on the y-axis a little bit. And now I go to the render composition and check the outcome. And I think this looks quite good, and I will leave it like this. So if you're happy with my color layout that I made, then your customization is finished and you can render out the final video. Make sure that you render out the render composition. If you want to change the color layout, then stay tuned. I will show you how to do this now. First of all, inside the render composition, you see that we have a color control layer. And if you select this layer and move to your effect controls panel, you see that we have a bunch of different color controls here. First of all, you can change the lights, the color of the lights. So we could make this maybe to something more of a bluish color. And let's make this a little bit more of a red color right here. Okay. The next thing is the ambient light. The ambient light is pretty subtle effect. If we go to the logo in the end and change the color of the ambient light, then you will see that it has some kind of an effect right here. But I would recommend to not really colorize this light too much, so I cancel this, and instead of this slight green touch, I will make this, or turquoise touch, I will make this a little bit more blue, because I want to change the overall color look to a bluish tint here. So let's take a slight bluish tint. Okay. Now I can change the background color. First of all, I can change background color number 1, and I want to make this a little bit more of a bluish color and maybe a little bit brighter, but not too much, because we still want to have a dark background to have a nice contrast with our dancer. So a little bit of a brighter blue here. I will leave the second color at black, and I will also leave background color 3 and color 4. These are applied to these textures that you can see here, these triangles, straight lines here. So they probably will not change much if I change this. You see that if I go to white here, it becomes a little bit more obvious. And yeah, if I blend it with blue, then you see that this gets saturated, and I can change this a bit to maybe something green. Maybe this is kind of a cool effect. So you see that these textures are only blended in, so they are not very obvious, but you can create a little bit of a nice color shading here. So let's say maybe I want to take this greenish look here. Okay. And I will leave the background 4 color at this dark blue here. Now we can take a look how this looks like. And I think that it looks quite good, but I do not like the red light here, so maybe I also take this greenish light here, and I think that this blends in a little bit better. If you want to change the color of the dancer, then you can go into the color map. You see that the color map is right here in our timeline. If it's not in the timeline, you can find it up here in the project window. In the color map, you see that there is a texture applied right now. It is a JPEG that I created, and it is very, very colorful. If you want to change the color, so if you want to apply your own colors to the dancer, then you can simply drag in whatever texture you want. I will show you this quickly. So I will go to File, Import, and Import File. And now we'll move to a folder where I have some textures. These are some random abstract backgrounds that I collected from the internet. So I just used them as an example. And for now, I will use this yellow red texture and drag it on top of my color map, and I right click and make sure that I go to transform and fit to comp so that it is exactly as big as my composition. And now I can go to my render composition, and now you see the outcome. Now the dancer takes over the colors from the texture that I applied. If you want to apply your own colors, then go to the color map, and then you can of course get rid of these textures, turn them off or delete them. And now you can create a new layer. Let's create a new solid. And a very easy method of creating a multicolor texture here is to use the 4-color gradient. So let's go to Effects and Presets and type in 4 and 4-color gradient, apply it to our layer here. And if I go back to the render comp, you see right now the dancer is taking over the colors that I have applied to this map here. So for example, what I could do now is I could move these two out of the way a bit so that they influence our dancer only a little, and move the green and the blue one to the middle, because green and blue are the colors that are our main colors in this customization. And now you see that I have a dancer that looks not too bad. You can of course also change the colors right here. So maybe we want to take another color here, another bluish thing, or a little bit of a lighter blue here, something like that. And instead of this one, or actually I like this one, so I will bring it in a little bit, but I will make it a little bit darker, maybe like so. Okay, if we go to the render comp now, you see that our dancer now is affected by all these colors that I put into this gradient here. Okay, so now the customization is finished. We could render out this nice animation. I really hope that you like this template. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through my website, which is www.graphicinmotion.com, or through my Video Hive profile. Thank you very much for watching, and I really hope to see you soon. Goodbye.